covering all your local high school football games with highlights and scores. Now, Football Friday, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union.
And hello again, everybody, and welcome into the latest edition of Football Friday. I'm Gary Harris, and high school football season is a little bit tricky for me doing this show in terms of there's week 0, and then there is week 1. But we started Football Friday during week 0. So we've got week 4 of football, or Friday, week 3 of the high school football season, if you look at it like that. This program is being brought to you, as always, by Alabama Credit Union, and we're 1 hour again this year, so that means a lot of highlights. We're working on, because we're still working on a couple of games. We're trying to get highlights from 17 high school football games for you this evening. That's the goal. We will definitely have 15 or 16, but we are trying to get 17. Plus, of course, our complete Football Friday high school scoreboard presented by Beulah Baptist Church, our Football Friday Band of the Week, our premier service company outside the huddle feature, recruiting tales around the SEC, behind enemy lines, and much more. And we're going to begin, as we do every week, with our Watley Health Services Game of the Week.
Now, the Game of the Week, brought to you by Watley Health Services.
All right, Class 4A Region 4, Holt off to a 2-1 start and a chance to pick up a region victory against 0-3 West Blocton. West Blocton beat them 39-0 last year. When the Tigers, despite being 0-3, came out fast again tonight. Trey Lawley finds Colton Elliott in the end zone for 6. PAT good. Tigers on top 7-0. Next West Blocton drive, the reverse works to perfection as receiver Matthew Morris gets around the edge for the touchdown. 14-0 West Blocton on top in this one. West Blocton kept the offense on the move tonight. Morris takes it around the edge again for 6. West Blocton rolling against the Ironmen 21-0. Later in the second quarter, Cooper Dearman is going to slash between tacklers and get it into the end zone, 27-0. Watch this, Holt with really the play of the night. They might not have won the game, but they are going to run a reverse deep in their own territory. And A.J. Cockrell is going to take it 98 yards to put the Ironmen on the board. That was reason for the fans at Woody Clement Stadium to get on their feet. It was not enough as we check out the final. Still, though, great play. But it is West Blocton tonight coming up with the win. 41-18 is that final score. 6A Region 4, 3-0 Central at 3-0 Bessemer City. So an early season region showdown. We were there as the Purple Tigers came out of their inflatable helmet. Bessemer City gets the scoring going early. 32-yard touchdown run by Chanis Wilson. That's a pretty play. 7-0. The Purple Tigers on top. But Central bounced back. That's what good football teams do. Their outstanding quarterback, Armani White, is going to connect with wideout Cannon Atkinson Eubanks, who cuts it back inside, then turns on the jets, cuts back again, and he has got it in the end zone for 6. We're tied at 7-7. However, before the end of the half, the Purple Tigers strike again. Tailback Lemarion Gooden. Well, actually right there, that's some defense. That sets up this. The defense sets up the offense, and this is Gooden getting it over for 6 to make it 14-7 at the half. And then in the third quarter, the Purple Tigers kept the pressure on, and they make the plays they have to make. Great interception there by Central, but it is not enough as Bessemer City wins this key region game at home tonight. Falcons' first loss of the season. Big win for Bessemer City. They moved to 4-0, unbeaten in the region as well. 28-7 is that final score. Class 6A Region 4, Brookwood at Northridge as we stay in 6A Region 4. Late in the second quarter, Northridge ball, quarterback Mason Elam finds Jonathan Shearer Brown for a 20-yard touchdown. Brookwood now with the ball, and quarterback Wesley Patton finds Aiden McGee on a huge fourth down conversion. As Brookwood, listen, they've won a game. They beat West Blocton earlier this year to break a 20-game losing streak. They're not going to win a ton, but they're getting there. And they fought hard tonight, but that Northridge defense, as you can see, making a lot of plays tonight. And then later on offense, it's going to be Elam again, launching downfield and connecting with Demarion Cotton. And it is going to be a 45-yard reception, and Northridge goes on to score. They dominate tonight and get the win over Brookwood. 37-7 is that final score tonight. 7A Region 3, 3-0 Hillcrest at 2-1 Vestavia. Hillcrest knocked off Hoover last week, but Vestavia was ready at home tonight. Junior quarterback Charlie Taff, right up the middle, makes it 7-0. Vestavia takes an early lead. Next time the Rebs touch the ball, they're back in the end zone again. Taft gives it to Carson Purdy, 14-0 Rebels. And then Hillcrest turned it over. That's never good. Vestavia looking on offense to make a play again. Jeffrey LeMaster catches the little hitch route, and he turns it on. 21-0 as Vestavia scored on their first 3 drives of the game. Second quarter, Hillcrest waking up offensively. Jordan Shamley dumps it off to Jacoby Harris. And Harris, he's fast. He gets it across to make it 21-7, 21-10 now. Hillcrest trying to come back, but it is Taft hitting Braxton Hunt on the play-action pass. And Hunt just refuses to go down. He gets it into the end zone, and Vestavia goes on to win this big 7A Region 3 battle, 42-24. Hillcrest loses its first game of the season, but they've been on the road 3 out of 4 weeks. They're going to be coming home now for some games, and that should be able to make a big difference. 7A Region 3, Tuscaloosa County High hosting Prattville. Tuscaloosa County High head coach Chris Bell in his first season, he knew this was a rebuilding job, and it's going to be a tough year. Prattville on defense, Elijah Brown throws C.J. Hutchins to the ground, and the ball comes out. Prattville gets on it, and Tristan Blackman is going to score the first touchdown of the game to put the Lions up 7-0. Prattville added on with another rushing touchdown by Kavion Tyus to make it 14-0 Prattville. And then Prattville can also do it through the air. Jamarian Williams, a dime to Deshaun Hall for the touchdown, making it 21-0. And then Prattville extended the lead right before the half with another touchdown pass to Braden Graham. Prattville 35-zip at the break, and the Lions go on to beat the Wildcats tonight. 49-7, that final score up in Northport. Wow, we're just continuing to bring you the games. Class 5A Region 3, a very fine Northside team. Their homecoming tonight against undefeated Selma. Big game. Rams first possession. Quarterback Jackson Rhodes sends it to J.J. Chase. Chase makes the catch and takes it all the way. Pretty play. 7-0 Rams on top. Selma, though, they're undefeated, so you know they're good. Samarian Woods looking for a man, but look at the defense. Sawyer Kendrick, it takes a thief. He gets the interception and brings it all the way back to midfield. And then the Rams are going to take that short field and score another touchdown to jump on top 14-0. And look at this. Northside, folks, is for real. As we check out the final, they absolutely blow away an undefeated Selma team tonight. 56-6 is that final score. All right, we're just getting started good. Hopefully my voice will hold up for an entire hour here tonight. So much fun, and as I said, we're just good and going. Still to come, our Abby Award-winning and Emmy-nominated Outside the Huddle feature presented by Premier Service Company and also Behind Enemy Lines. But up next, American Christian Academy. Welcome to Bibb County to Tuscaloosa this evening for a Class 4A Region 4 clash. We'll have it for you next when Football Friday continues on WVUA 23.
West Blocton loves Football Friday on WVUA 23. Go Tigers!
And the West Blocton cheerleaders certainly had a lot to cheer about tonight as they knocked off Holt in a region game. Welcome back to Football Friday on WVUA 23. I'm Gary Harris. Let's get right back to the highlights in Class 4A Region 4 as American Christian Academy hosted Bibb County. Bibb County got the ball, and they didn't waste much time going to work. Braden Cash is going to pitch it to Jamarius Sanders. He's going to get around the left side for a nice gain, and then it's Keziah Clark pushing his way in to make it 7-0. ACA fighting here, but Bibb County was just too strong tonight. Jalen Stacy picks off the tip ball right there. Bibb County, though, gives it back with a fumble deep in their own territory, and ACA is going to capitalize as Christian Davis is going to punch it through, and it looked like we might have ourselves a game, as that made it 7-7, but the Choctaws, too much. Keziah Clark again, this touchdown made it 14-7. And then ACA back to punt, and you see what happens there. Let's check out the final. It's at Bibb County all the time here in Tuscaloosa over American Christian in region action, 49-13 the final. 3-0 TA hosting 0-3 Isabella in 2A Region 5, and when you have 3-0 facing 0-3, you think maybe this might be an easy one for the 3-0 team. That wouldn't be the case. TA's Mark Norris here with a nice run. Gets it off to Matthew Atkins, and then there is the touchdown after the nice run to Atkins to make it 7-0 Knights. TA again striking. Norris launching to Atkins for 65 yards, 13-7 after missed extra point. But Isabella had the lead at half, and this is, I got to tell you, this is a shocker. Let's check out the final as Isabella gets the win. That's why they play the game, folks. 0-3 comes into Tuscaloosa and beats the 3-0 team tonight. 21-19. I'm surprised by that, but still, it's just one game. But TA suffers its first loss of the season tonight at home. 3A Region 3 robbery time. Hale County traveling south. Just a little piece down Highway 69 to Greensboro. Fourth down. Kavion Ryans. Just right up the middle. You're talking about some blocking. He just burst through for a 14-0 Wildcats lead. The Raiders trying to make a play, but the pass is going to be bounced around and then picked off by Brandon Lockwood. And he's going to bring it way back into Greensboro territory. Marcus Bryant will get the 1-yard touchdown to make it 21-0 Wildcats. And then on the next possession, Bryant finds Caleb Davis for a 37-yard touchdown pass. And Hale County beats Greensboro 34-8 is that final as they win bragging rights down there in Hale County tonight. Non-region action. Sipsey Valley traveling down to Aliceville to take on the Yellow Jackets. Aliceville up 7-0 in the first. Sipsey in the red zone, and Isaiah Bennett will punch it across to tie the game. Aliceville on offense, and quarterback Tyqualan Glass just takes off. He picks up a first down. Or actually gets it into the end zone. That's a touchdown. And the Yellow Jackets have the lead. Sipsey back on offense now in the second quarter. And it's Bennett again. Bennett was a load tonight. Sipsey Valley had the lead at the half, 21-12. And as we check out the final, big win for the Bears tonight on the road at Aliceville. 48-32 is that final score tonight. Morgan Academy at Southern Academy down in Greensboro. And dual threat quarterback Alex Johnson from Morgan Academy showed off his legs with this rushing touchdown to put Morgan Academy up a score. And then Alex Johnson would show off his arm. Quick pass to receiver Sean Pope, who makes a great move and takes it all the way for the touchdown to put Morgan up 2 scores. On the next possession, Southern Academy running back Patrick Thomas would run it in for the touchdown to bring Southern within 1 score. More Southern Academy. Drew Rogers dropping back and finding tight end Oliver Luthener for the huge touchdown to bring Southern Academy within 2 points. And on the 2-point try, Southern would tie the game at 22 before halftime. And let's go to the final score here. Good ball game tonight. And it is Southern Academy winning a wild one over Morgan Academy, 42-36 is the final. 3A Region 5, Winfield at Gordo. First quarter, the Winfield Pirates on the road at Gordo, and they're going to bring the defensive heat right here as they get the pressure. Gordo, though, Ford Hewitt punches through for a first down on 3rd and short. Winfield, though, would hold and get the ball back, and quarterback Blaine Bowen drops back and looking for a man down the field, but good defense to get the stop there by Gordo on 3rd down. Gordo trying to get something going offensively. You've seen a lot of defense in this game, but Ryder Robertson is tackled for a loss. Defense is what we're seeing, but there was some offense in this game too. As we check out the final, you'll see what I mean. Gordo will take it 35-21 over the Winfield Pirates tonight up there in Gordo. Class 1A, Region 5, Lynn at Pickens County, just right down the road from Gordo. Reform as Pickens County hosting Lynn. Pickens County quarterback MJ Billups is going to buy some time here and connect with his receiver for a first down. Pickens County trying to patiently move the ball down the field. MJ Billups rolls out again and gets the completed pass. He's stopped. The receiver is down near the goal line, and that sets up Billups to call his own number as he gets it across. This made it 14-13. Lynn on top by a point over Pickens County. Lynn then on offense. This is a young Pickens County Tornadoes team, but they always bring the energy, and they're going to get a sack right here, and good defense, but not enough. As we check out the final, Lynn gets the win, 34-25 up in Reform tonight. Well, let's take a break to hear from some of our great sponsors, but when we come back, we'll keep the highlights coming with 4 more big games, including Thompson and Oak Mountain, and more from Class 7A Region 3, with Hoover hosting Hewitt-Trussville. Football Friday will return right here on WVUA 23.
We are the Holy Spirit Saints.
You're watching Football Friday on WVUA 23.
Go Saints.
A little warm and humid out there this evening, but other than that, it was a great night for high school football. I'm Gary Harris. Welcome back in. Our crews worked hard to bring you plenty of highlights, so let's get right back to the action. Defending Class 7A state champion Thompson at Oak Mountain in Region 3 played, and I tell you, when your voice is your throat's scratchy, it's just hard to get these words out. Bear with me. First quarter, Thompson's KJ Jackson goes around the left side and scores from 29 yards out. Warriors on top 7-0. Still in the first, Trent Seaborn, the outstanding quarterback, finds Darian Mosley for the 40-yard catch and run. And that would set up this next play. R.J. Evans straight up the middle, Thompson on top 14-0. Second quarter, it's Seaborn again. He drops back, scrambles and throws on the run. Price Lewis is there for the catch, stops and keeps going. Little stop and go movement, 43 yards for the TD. Warriors up 21-0. Still in the second, Oak Mountain punting, and Lewis is there, and that's bad for Oak Mountain because he's good. Look at the little stutter step. Slows up, then speeds up, takes it 55 yards for the touchdown. Thompson 27-0 at half, and the Warriors go ahead and roll tonight over Oak Mountain on the road, 41-0. Remember, Thompson's only loss of the season is to Grayson over in Georgia. I mean, I'm not saying they're unbeatable in the state because Hoover got them last year, but they are in the regular season, but they're still the class, I think, of Class 7A in the state of Alabama. More 7A Region 3, Hewitt-Trussville at Hoover. Hoover coming off a loss to Hillcrest last week, looking to bounce back. Bucks down 7-0 in the first quarter. Caleb Freeman on 3rd and long hits Jeremiah Tabb. They call him Jet because he flies past the defense. We're tied at 7. Second quarter now. Jonah Winston takes the direct snap, picks up some blocks, and does the rest himself, walking into the end zone. 14-7 Bucks at the half. 14 now, 9 now, Bucks in the fourth. And here comes Hewitt as they get great blocking along the left side, punch it in for the touchdown. They go for 2 and make it. Huskies up 17-14, and that would be the final. As Hewitt-Trussville goes into the Hoover Met and gets the win over the Bucks. Hoover loses back-to-back region games at home. That's tough. Hewitt-Trussville takes it 17-14. And we had hoped to have highlights from a 6A Region 6 matchup between Mountain Brook and Pell City. As I said, we're efforting 17 games. This is one that we were not able to get the highlights from, and it was a good, hard-fought defensive football game. We do have the final score that we're going to pass along to you as Pell City gets the win over Mountain Brook. 10-3, the final. Nick Gentry, the former Alabama defensive tackle, now the head coach at Pell City, has done a nice job at Pell City. And when you can beat Chris Yeager's team, the Spartans, we know how good they are every year. That's a big win for Pell City tonight in region. 10-3 the final. More 6A Region 6, Oxford at Pinson Valley. And the Indians came out at home hot in this one. They got a defense on their first defensive possession, and then Derrick O'Freeman finds Christian Thomas, leaping catch in the end zone. Pinson goes up 7-0. Oxford looks for the answer. Quarterback Caleb Jenkins, the strike to Jalen Taylor, and we're tied at 7. That's a 27-yard touchdown. Second quarter now, Pinson Valley on 4th and goal from the 26, and they go for it. They figure we're not going to be able to kick a field goal, so they just throw it up, and Thomas, jump ball, goes up and gets it. Got to play basketball. It's a smart play. Don't figure you kick a field goal, just throw it up. They get the touchdown, and then 2 minutes before half, after a bunch of Oxford penalties, Freeman gets it into the end zone. Less than a minute and a half, Oxford coming back. Caleb Wynn on the screen pass. This was a wild one as he weaves through traffic, but Pinson Valley gets the win over Oxford tonight. Or check that. This is an update. I just saw the final. Pinson Valley had a 40-27 lead, and Oxford comes from behind in a thriller. This is the first time I've seen this final. My last note I had, it was 40-27 in the fourth, and looked like Pinson Valley was going to win it, but Oxford with a huge comeback win on the road. The Yellow Jackets take it over the Indians tonight. 41-40 is that final. Wow. All right, that's why they play them all the way to the end of the game, right? That's going to do it for our high school highlights, but we've still got a lot more to come here on Football Friday, including a trip behind enemy lines and recruiting tales with Tighter Insider's Rodney Orr. But next, if you're wondering about your favorite team tonight and how they did in their game, you won't have to wonder much longer at all. We're going to have our complete Football Friday scoreboard presented by Beulah Baptist Church. That's on the way next. West Blocton at Holt was our game of the week, and the West Blocton Band is our band of the week. Welcome back to Football Friday. I'm Gary Harris, and it's time now to check in on the rest of the scores from across our area. So let's get to the Beulah Baptist Church Football Friday scoreboard and run them down for you. Paul Bryant. Okay, we're going to double check that one. Nothing against Paul Bryant, but I would be very surprised if that score is accurate. So we'll double check that for you just based on the way these two teams' seasons have gone. We'll check on that one. I'm going to double check that score here in a moment. But for now, it's got Paul Bryant 42, Hueytown 7 on the scoreboard. But Hueytown was the winner there. Hueytown was the winner 42-7. So yeah, just get that. I know you've seen it on the screen, but Hueytown won that game 42-7. All right, Demopolis over Mount Avallo 38-6. It was Fayette County downing Fultondale 44-0. Hubbardville goes to Berry and gets a big win, 44-12. Big win for Fayette County too. Sulligent at home over Greene County, 32-14. University Charter in Livingston beats Holy Spirit Catholic out of Tuscaloosa tonight, 46-6, the final score there. It was Marion County over South Lamar, 38-34. Vincent down Lamar County, 53-18, the final there. And Linden over R.C. Hatch, 48-16 is that final tonight. It was Choctaw County all over Pickens Academy up in Carrollton this evening. The final score, 52-6. Clay Chalkville absolutely put a whipping on Shades Valley, 50-0. The final in that game, the Cougars over the Mounties. Spain Park, likewise, with a big win at home over Helena, 38-14. Pelham and Calera. Pelham, they lost a couple close ones, but they won a close one tonight. Panthers get the win at home, 37-34. Benjamin Russell all over Chilton County. That game was played down in Clanton, 49-16 the final. It was Leeds big over Lincoln, 45-7. Hamilton blanked Dora, 42-0 the final. Phil Campbell outscored Oakman, 36-30, and Hackleburg. But Waterloo met their Waterloo tonight in the form of Hackleburg. 52-6, the final score in that one. What a game. Jasper by 1 over Coleman. These two rivals took it right down to the final horn, and Jasper gets the win, 30-29. And J.B. Pennington tonight on the road at Ohatchee. J.B. Pennington gets the win, 42-14. Well, that's our Beulah Baptist Church Football Friday scoreboard, but we are not done with high school football. Because when we come back, Bama Central's Joe Gaither will join me for high school football analysis, including an in-depth look at our game of the week between West Blocton and Holt. Holt had the play of the game, but West Blocton had more plays to win the game. That's coming next on Football Friday.
We are the Gordo Varsity Cheer Squad, and we love Football Friday on WVUA 23. Roll waves.
All right, we want to again make sure that we get that score correct. And listen, I think Christian Jones is going to build something at Paul Bryant, but that was Hueytown winning tonight. Joe Gaither's with me. We know Hueytown, they're a force in Class 6A Region 4. Give Christian Jones some time, but that was Hueytown tonight over Paul Bryant, 42-7. Welcome back into Football Friday, presented by Alabama Credit Union. I'm Gary Harris, joined by Joe Gaither from Bama Central. Our game of the week tonight, and we were out there live at 5 o'clock with Brian Newton. And you talk about a guy that's working hard at Holt. I mean, he is. And they were 2-1 coming into tonight. Yeah. And we know that West Blocton beat them 39-0 last year at West Blocton, but West Blocton's got a young team this year. I really thought Holt would have an opportunity to win this game. You were there for full quarter. They fought, but give West Blocton, that young team, credit. They jumped on top and kind of cruised to victory tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. They were more physical up front and really used the running game to grind the clock and control possessions. Ended up winning 41-18. They jumped out to a 27-0 lead. They ended up getting 2 turnovers in 8 Holt plays. So really defensively, Holt was never even able to get going offensively before West Blocton had the ball again. So they ended up having 2 different running backs run for 2 different touchdowns. Cash Morris went in twice for 2 touchdowns. Cooper Dearman went for 2 touchdowns as well. So it was really all running the football on the ground for West Blocton as they ground their way to victory.
And if you're wondering about Cooper Dearman, yeah, he's related to Sawyer
That
Dearman.
Was my question.
I'm pretty sure they're cousins. That Dearman family, they can play some football.
Well, he looked like young Sawyer out there.
For Holt, and again, Brian Newton, last year we didn't know thought they were going to do away with the program. 2 wins. After winning 4 games last year, this is a setback tonight. But again, you were out there, Woody Clement Stadium, named after the greatest coach in Holt history. Did you sense some excitement for the program that people believe that they can maybe get back to playing some good football and be a winner?
Well, absolutely. The organization is there. Mm-hmm. They had, for the first time since I've been out there, directing me to a parking place, had a nice direction for the parking. All the grass was cut evenly. So, yes, these are minuscule things, but things that weren't there at Holt really before under his direction. You had all the young middle schoolers and youth football players running out
That's
with
the
Holt
key.
Iron. Exactly.
That's the key.
You build the program with the young kids, and I think the excitement is there at Holt.
A couple other games I want to mention. Central at Bessemer City. I knew that was going to be a good game. I thought Central would go over there and win. Yeah. Purple Tigers must be for real.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that makes them the favorite in that region. I know they're going to have to face Northridge and kind of see what happens with that. But I think that kind of projects them into the driver's seat right there. And
we know 7A Region 3 is it's just unforgiving. Hillcrest, a big road win last week at Hoover, but they fall tonight at Vestavia.
It's just so hard. I mean, it's the SEC of Alabama high school football. Yeah. It's every week, week in and week out. And Hillcrest did get a huge win last week, but you got to come back the next Friday night.
Thank you, Joe, as always. Great stuff. When we come back, our award-winning Outside the Huddle feature presented by Premier Service Company, Football Friday, will continue after this.
Cheerleaders, and you're watching Football Friday on WVUA 23. Go Knights!
Welcome back to WVUA 23's Football Friday, presented by Alabama Credit Union. It's time now for our award-winning Outside the Huddle feature, presented by Premier Service Company. Tonight, Alex Booth has the inspirational story of how Fayette County quarterback Jake Rickman is playing football while coping with juvenile multiple sclerosis.
The physicality of football cannot be understated. The full contact display is both the game's appeal and its danger. Every play, every hit, every parent holding their breath, even if just for a moment before their kid gets up and goes back to the huddle. And sometimes the risks are not immediate and clear to see.
I knew something was off. I mean, I just wasn't playing like I usually do. I was just asking myself, like, what's going on? Am I just off today, or is something really wrong?
Jake's father, Bill, rushed Jake to Children's Hospital in Birmingham after numerous tests and hours of waiting. On Saturday, the Rickmans had an official diagnosis.
They called me and told me they found something on his MRI. He had multiple lesions on his brain, and it was classic MS, multiple sclerosis.
I could tell Bill was upset, which scared the crap out of me because, he's their kid, but he's one of 50-something of ours too.
The doctors began to work towards a plan for Jake that would allow the sophomore quarterback to continue his athletic career.
The doctor helped to put it in perspective for us. The initial treatment for that is high-dose steroids. That helps to settle down his symptoms.
The diagnosis and treatment would allow Jake to return to play athletics. And after 2 initial treatments of Rituxan, Jake already began to show improvement.
I think it was relief, seeing him out there and being able to perform without any hindrances, and it's kind of a, weight lifted off your shoulders. As he said, he feels like he's getting a second chance. So I'm just thankful for every opportunity he gets to go out and play, whether it's one more week or another 10, 12 weeks. I'm just thankful that he's able to do what he loves to do.
Jake and his coaches quickly worked on a return-to-play protocol, which included ordering a new type of helmet with inside sensors and upping hydration.
The first thing we did is I ordered in the best helmet I could get. We can tell after each practice and game, impacts. We ended up getting a couple of them. Main thing is not letting him get too hot. We try to monitor how hot he gets. I think that's the biggest indicator.
I really kind of base it off how I feel. I try to drink a lot of water, like a lot of liquid IVs.
The Rickman family started a foundation, JMS, which stands for Jake Made Strong. The acronym has the same initials as Jake's diagnosis, juvenile multiple sclerosis.
My verse, Genesis 50:20, and that basically means what the enemy meant for evil, the Lord turned it to good. And that just correlates to everything that happened with me.
It is a case of mind over body. Jake's spirit is greater than any potential physical limitation. Just a few weeks after he began treatment last December, Jake was back on the basketball court for Fayette County.
This was a story, and this was a little bit of adversity that he was going to show that, it's not going to hold me down, and it hadn't. It's kind of a testimony to other kids or adults going through this. He's playing starting quarterback, putting the numbers up, doing what he does in basketball and baseball and football, all while going through this. So it's not a limitation to him. It's just a little bit of obstacle that he's overcome.
Jake Rickman is like the bracelets that carry his message, resilient and able to return to form, no matter what direction life's challenges pull in.
Wow. Thank you, Alex. And listen to this. Not only is he playing, how about these stats? This was his third straight game with 4 total touchdowns tonight. He went 8 of 9 for 126 yards passing with 3 touchdowns. He also had a rush TD in their big win over Fultondale. That's some special stuff. Coming up, Rodney Orr's recruiting tales, and Mackenzie Walter will take us behind enemy lines when Football Friday continues. Welcome back. I'm Gary Harris. It's time now for Recruiting Tales with Tider Insider's Rodney Orr. Dabo Swinney, as a walk-on wide receiver at Alabama, he was tough, he was hard-nosed, he was determined, he got after it. And that's the style that he brought as the head coach of the Clemson Tigers to recruiting. And his recruiting success led him to win 2 national championships for the Tigers.
Dabo was a very confident recruiter. He loved Alabama, and he was a guy that made a really strong impression because Dabo is a guy that you trust. Comes across as very trustworthy. The mothers loved him. They trusted him with their sons. He could relate well to young kids because Dabo was still pretty young himself, and he's always been a guy that's kind of been a fun guy. And so I think the way he was, his personality, made him a really good recruiter. Well, there's one thing Dabo's never lacked, and that's confidence. And it's kind of funny because Dabo never met a prospect that he was recruiting that he didn't think he could get.
You got to believe. Like I said, as a player, he won a national championship at Alabama, outstanding recruiter as an assistant coach for UA, and now as the head coach at Clemson, 2-time national champion. Well, now it's time for the inside scoop on Alabama's opponent tomorrow, the Wisconsin Badgers. Football Friday's Mackenzie Walter goes behind enemy lines with Madison, Wisconsin ESPN radio personality Jim Rutledge.
The Wisconsin Badgers have started the season off hot at 2-0 with wins against Miami, Ohio, and Middle Tennessee. This weekend, Wisconsin will take the trip down to Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama. The previous time these two teams faced off last season, Alabama took home a dominant win, 42-10. Wisconsin finished its season 5-7 last year, missing a bowl game for the first time in 22 years.
Fortunately, the Alabama domination of the Badgers was not even the worst of the season for Wisconsin. So I wouldn't say there's a payback specifically for Alabama. I think it's about the Badgers need to go down there and they need to show that they belong on the field with a team like Alabama.
When Badgers starting quarterback Billy Edwards was hurt in the first game of the season, SDSU transfer Danny O'Neal got his chance in the spotlight. O'Neal struggled to start the Middle Tennessee game, but began to find his stride after half.
I don't think he'll be afraid of the moment, good or bad. He plays with a lot of, Coach Fickle called it athletic arrogance. Moxie could be another way to go with it that can work in your favor sometimes. You're too young and too inexperienced and too cocky to realize you shouldn't be beating Alabama, and that's what Badger fans are hoping for, that Danny's going to come out there and continue to play with that sort of athletic arrogance.
The Badgers' success will rely on improving their rushing game and making big plays in blocks.
The Badgers' run offense did not get going. Their offensive line has been kind of in shambles and shuffled a lot. So they have to figure out how to run the ball traditionally and then take strategic shots, whether that is in end arounds or play action.
Wisconsin is looking for a bounce-back season, and Alabama will be its first real test.
They're not going down there to face Derrick Henry or Joe Namath or any of those legends. They're going down there to play the guys on the roster currently, and that's the message that they've been putting out there.
Kickoff is scheduled for Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Time. For Football Friday, I'm Mackenzie Walter.
Thank you, Mackenzie. I hate to say it, but O'Neal, the quarterback, gives me that Diego Pavia, Tommy Castellanos feel just a little bit. Shorter quarterback, a little bit cocky. I hope he doesn't have the same results they did against the Tide. Coming up, we'll go around the SEC and check in with Richard Scott for your game day forecast. We'll be back after this. Football Friday continues. I'm Gary Harris. There are some huge matchups this weekend in the Southeastern Conference. Let's go around the SEC with Football Friday's Garrett Atkins.
Last week, College Game Day traveled to Norman, Oklahoma for a marquee matchup between the Michigan Wolverines and Oklahoma Sooners, which saw the Sooners come out on top. This week, College Game Day will stay in the SEC when it travels to Knoxville for a top 25 matchup between the Georgia Bulldogs and Tennessee Volunteers. Georgia has taken over the rivalry during Kirby Smart's tenure, having won 8 straight and taking 8 of 9 against the Vols. Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel has had no luck, with his team losing every time by an average of 20 points. But if there is any place where historical losing streaks come to die, it's Neyland Stadium, where the Volunteers were able to snap a 15-game losing streak against the Alabama Crimson Tide in 2022. Tennessee is hoping to use its home crowd to do the same on Saturday. Another heated SEC rivalry takes place when the Florida Gators travel to Death Valley to take on the LSU Tigers. Florida is coming off a stunning loss to the better-than-advertised South Florida Bulls. The Gators are in a tough spot for a bounce-back performance because LSU is ranked 3rd and have a Heisman Trophy candidate and top NFL prospect in quarterback Garrett Nussmeier. The Tigers already have a resume-stamping win when it knocked off then 4th-ranked Clemson and the other Death Valley in Week 1. Expect Florida to lean heavily on its talented young quarterback DJ Lagway. LSU coach Brian Kelly says the game plan starts with stopping Lagway and the offense.
You know, it starts with their quarterback. DJ is really arm talent off the charts. You know, he can throw the football. He's a guy that, you know, when you look at quarterbacks in this league, you know, he has elite talent. But he's got guys around him.
2 opponents Alabama will see next month square off as 2-0 Vanderbilt travels to unbeaten South Carolina. Both programs have seen their fortunes change. Last year, Vanderbilt earned its first ranking in the AP poll, winning season, and bowl win since 2013 under head coach Clark Lee. South Carolina has seen a similar turnaround under Shane Beamer. He took over for Will Muschamp and immediately led the Gamecocks to 2 straight winning seasons. South Carolina is currently ranked 11th. The winner of this game can cement their place as one of the hottest up-and-coming programs in the country. That will wrap up Around the SEC on Football Friday. I'm Garrett Atkins.
Thanks, Garrett. It's going to be quite a weekend. The SEC, it just means more, right? Weather-wise, the good news is there will be plenty of sunshine tomorrow. The bad news is it's going to be hot. Let's check in with WVUA 23 Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott with your game day forecast.
Those local high school football games are ramping up. No weather problems at all other than the heat. Certainly that's been a concern. We felt the warmer weather for today. Again, the satellite and radar skies are clearing out tonight. How about college football? Let's check it out as Alabama takes on Wisconsin at Saban Field at Bryant-Denny. That is an 11 o'clock kickoff, an early game, 84 degrees with a sunny sky, mainly sunny fourth quarter. Temperature at that point at around 93. So it gets hot tomorrow for our game day. Here's a look at the Auburn game. Auburn taking on South Alabama down at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Another early game, 11:45 a.m. kickoff. Temperature at 87, skies sunny. We got 93 at the fourth quarter down at Jordan-Hare, so keep in mind it will be hot for that game as well. And for Mississippi State, they're taking on Alcorn State over in Starkville. That is at 5 o'clock kickoff, 92. Skies will be sunny fourth quarter at around 87. No chance for rain to Starkville. So overall for the local football games this Saturday, we're looking good, but it will be hot and mostly dry. That's your local forecast update. Have a wonderful weekend.
I guess that's a trade-off. Plenty of sunshine, a little bit hot, but hey, Alabama's used to it. Wisconsin, maybe not so much. Maybe that'll be Crimson Tide's advantage tomorrow at Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium. All right, I want to thank our great sponsors for tonight's show, Alabama Credit Union, Wiley Health Services, Beulah Baptist Church, Premier Service Company. Want to thank you for joining us. Want to thank our staff, both out in the field and in the studio and in the control room tonight for doing all the real work to get this show on the air. Over the weekend, Alex Booth is going to be in on Saturday night at 10 and Sunday night at 10. Tomorrow night, plenty of Alabama football coverage. Sam Holly and I will be covering the game, and we'll have that coverage for you tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. All right, that's going to do it for Football Friday. Thanks for watching, everybody. And a reminder, we'll be back again next Friday night at 10:30 on WVUA 23. Enjoy your weekend.